All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds, erectile dysfunction. You know, the conversation almost always goes straight to one place, the pharmacy. But what if that's totally the wrong way to look at it? Today, we're going to flip the script. We're going to treat this not as some kind of performance problem, but as a really important message your body is trying to send you about your overall health. And it all boils down to the science of blood flow. So yeah, let's get into it.
I mean, think about it. When this issue comes up, what's the first thing everyone talks about? A pill, right? It's just the default answer. But you got to wonder, is that really the only way? Is a prescription the only path forward? Or is it maybe just slapping a Band-Aid on a much, much deeper issue?
And here's something that might shock you. For almost a third of guys who are given these common medications, they just don't work. 30%. And that's not even counting the side effects that can come along with them. So it becomes pretty clear, pretty fast, that we've got to start looking beyond the pill, because we're just not getting to the real root of the problem here.
Okay, so here's the plan for today. First, we'll talk about why just reaching for a pill isn't the whole story. Then, we'll get into what your body's actually trying to tell you. We'll look at the key molecule behind all this. And then, the good stuff. We'll cover how to power up with food and simple lifestyle changes. Let's do it. Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, more than just a pill. So, why is treating this like it's some isolated problem just a dead end? Well, the standard approach, it fails a lot of the time because it's kind of like trying to fix one wilting leaf on a plant without ever bothering to check the health of the roots. You're missing the big picture. The thing is, erectile dysfunction, it rarely just shows up by itself. It's almost always hanging out with some other major health issues, things like high blood pressure, obesity, or diabetes. It's not really a standalone thing, it's more like part of a package deal. And that right there, that's our first huge clue that we're dealing with something much, much bigger. All right, Section 2, your body's warning signal. This is where we need a really critical shift in how we think about this. What if this isn't the problem at all? What if it's actually an early warning system? You know, a super important symptom of something else going on much deeper inside your body.
Yeah, and this quote really just nails it. It says, erectile dysfunction is not a problem with the penis, it's a problem with something more systemic. It completely forces you to stop zooming in on one body part and instead zoom out and look at the whole system. See, it's not some local failure. It's your body giving you some incredibly important feedback.
So what exactly is this systemic issue we're talking about? Well, a lot of the time, it all comes down to the health of something called your endothelium. I know it sounds a little sciencey, but it's actually pretty simple. The endothelium is just this super thin, one-cell thick lining inside all of your blood vessels. And when that lining gets damaged or unhealthy, well, your whole circulatory system starts to have problems. So check this out. This really breaks down the shift in thinking. The way we used to see it was as a local performance issue, right? But the real problem is that it's a system-wide warning. We thought it was a failure of one organ, but it's actually valuable feedback from your body. And instead of an isolated condition, it's often one of the very first signs of developing vascular disease.
And you know what? Your body often gives you other clues that this is happening. Poor circulation, which doctors call peripheral artery disease, can show up in other ways. So maybe you notice things like your feet are always cold, or you get cramps in your legs when you walk. Maybe you even see slow healing sores, or a change in skin color, or even hair loss on your lower legs. These are all signs that your whole vascular system is under stress.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, the nitric oxide key. So we figured out the problem is a system-wide vascular issue. So, what's the fix? Well, here's the cool part. It's not a drug. It's a molecule your own body already produces. Let's meet the hero of our story, nitric oxide.
So to really get why this one little molecule is so powerful, you've got to think about the mechanics of it all. An erection is basically a feat of hydraulics. Seriously, it all comes down to blood pressure and blood flow in a really small, specific space. And because of that, the whole system is incredibly sensitive to even tiny disruptions in your circulation.
And that is where nitric oxide, or NO for short, plays the starring role. You can think of it as the master switch. It's the chemical signal that literally tells the muscles in your artery walls to just relax. And when they relax, those blood vessels open up nice and wide, allowing blood to rush in, and boom, you get a massive increase in blood flow. And the whole process is actually pretty simple and elegant. Step 1, your brain signals arousal. Step 2, your body releases nitric oxide. Step 3, that nitric oxide tells the blood vessels to expand. And step 4, that expansion allows for all the healthy blood flow you need. The takeaway here is crucial. If you don't have enough nitric oxide, you don't get that expansion. It's that simple.
So what gets in the way of this awesome process? Well, you probably guessed it. It's the same culprits we talked about before. Things like insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and even just chronic stress. They are all known to just slam the brakes on your body's ability to make and use nitric oxide. They basically shut down that whole hydraulic system before it even has a chance to get going.
Okay, section 4, power up with food. Now, here's the best part. Since this is a systemic problem, we can fight back with powerful systemic solutions. So let's dive into the most natural pharmacy there is, the food you eat, and see how you can literally turbocharge your body's nitric oxide levels, starting like right now.
And one of the absolute best ways to do this is also one of the simplest. I'm talking about a daily power drink that combines a bunch of these nitric oxide boosting powerhouses into one super easy and actually delicious habit.
Okay, let's break down what's in it. First up, watermelon. And get this, especially the rind. It's packed with something called citrulline, which your body uses as the raw material to make nitric oxide. Then you've got beetroot. It's famous for being full of dietary nitrates that your body converts directly into NO. And finally, you toss in some celery or maybe some arugula, which are also just loaded with those same amazing circulation-boosting nitrates.
And the good news doesn't stop there. Your toolkit can get even bigger. Garlic, for instance, has a compound in it called allicin that boosts NO and can help lower your blood pressure. Panax ginseng is another one that's shown real promise in research. Oh, and don't sleep on eggs. Seriously. They provide the fundamental building blocks your body needs to produce healthy levels of key hormones, like testosterone. All right, final section, number 5, power up your lifestyle. Look, food is an unbelievably powerful tool, but it's still only one piece of the puzzle. If you really want to get to the root cause, you have to combine good food with some key lifestyle changes. So let's talk about how to power up your life beyond what's on your plate.
So here's a simple but really powerful action plan. Number 1, exercise. It's one of the absolute best ways to boost nitric oxide. 2, practice nasal breathing. Believe it or not, just breathing through your nose releases NO right into your airways. 3, Kegel exercises. These strengthen your pelvic floor, which is key for maintaining blood flow. And number 4, reduce artificial overstimulation. We're talking about things like porn. This helps reset your brain's reward system, which is so important for natural arousal.
So you see, it all comes back to taking a holistic approach. It's never about one magic pill or one single superfood. It's about the synergy of all of it working together. The diet, the exercise, managing your stress, and building healthy habits. That's how you support your entire vascular system from the inside out. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. We're always taught to look for an external fix, right? A quick solution that comes in a bottle. But what if the most powerful aphrodisiac on the planet isn't something you can take at all, but is actually a state of vibrant, powerful health that you create for yourself? Something to think about. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you got something out of this, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe for more explainers like this one. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments.